Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Yesterday we saw how to cultivate love of God and devotion. We took the Krishna's promise, the 10th chapter, 10th shloka. Evam satatayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. How the Lord, when we totally, unconditionally and sincere, with all sincerity, we seek the divine, I want God alone. Then how does the Lord enter into our life and instigate us, fill us with the Buddhi Yoga? We saw what is Buddhi Yoga also in detail. So, the term Bhagavan specifically and precisely refers to a devotee. So, the cultivation of devotion, cultivation of love of God is most important part of the relationship between the Bhakta and Bhagavan. So, there are a few things that we have to again look into. One is cultivation of presence, at all times feeling the living presence of God. As if God is coming with you, He is living, not ordinary. Living presence of God you must be able to feel. You see, any two lovers in the world, you see how much of intensely they will be feeling the living presence. Can't we feel the living presence of God? Almost all saints were like us, with the family and friends, all people around. Both during sadhana and after they become siddhas, we see them living in the world. But where was their consciousness? What was there in their awareness, prajna? Their prajna was filled with God and God alone. There was no place for anything else other than God. So, when you start feeling the living presence of God with you, half the battle is won. You have not much to go. With it, if you can join the name of God, chanting the name of God, go on repeating the name of God, on from the heart alone, as if you are amidst Jani Vijani. You'll feel that you are Vijani, though you are in Jani. Though you are amidst people, you'll feel you are alone. We seek always solitude. We want to go somewhere and do our sadhana in secrecy and silence. But you can do the same thing. If you feel the same vijana in amidst the jana, then there is no need to enter into. We have to cultivate this slowly in our life to feel ourselves totally independent, anointed, without being anointed. That is, no sticking, no holding. You are amidst. They won't be there in your awareness. You are amidst them, talking to them, taking the responsibility during all the activities, service, everything. but you don't carry them in your mind or in your awareness. Awareness is filled with God. That's what Sri Ramakrishna expects. Do all your duties of life with one hand, hold on to God. And when the duties are over, hold with both your hands to the Lord's feet. So what is that? Holding with one hand is unbroken thought of divine by any means. That's what Sri Krishna says. Mam anusmara yudhyacha. Anusmara. Anusmarana. Smarana is now and then you are remembering him and forgetting the next moment. Anusmarana, unbroken. Unbroken divine thought. Constantly going on. So, feeling the living presence of God with you, just like saints used to feel. For Sri Ramakrishna, slightest he is in God, filled with God, smallest kindling is sufficient. He will be in Samadhi. Anybody singing or uttering the name Ram. Once we all had gone to Krishna Mat to see the Lord there, visit the Lord. Then we saw so many people are there. And the Montif there in charge, that is Swamiji, he came for visiting. All left the places here and there, wherever there was places, they all sat down. He comes in wet clothes after bath and takes rounds, enters inside, offers the flowers and goes away. So all were immediately, so much of talking, this, everything stopped. And dead silence. No sounds at all. In that, Swamiji alone is walking, making pradakshina. All are sorted, just observing. And then somebody from somewhere, Krishna, somebody said, a woman. Abba, it was so thrilling for everyone. And Swamiji stood and looked around. Means as if somebody out of pain or something or longing is calling on her. Then who could it be? Everybody was surprised. A blind woman. She doesn't know Swamiji had come and all. Silence and all. She cannot see. She was sitting in a corner. Everything became silent. Now she thought everybody has left and gone. Or what has happened, she doesn't know. So she knows there only Krishna. And old age, she cannot stand also and run anywhere. So that call, what a thrilling, everybody got thrilling. That feeling the presence of, living presence of God. Nobody recognized anybody else there. Even Swamiji was there, she is there, everybody's attention was on Swamiji, it suddenly disappeared. Swamiji has disappeared, world has disappeared, that Krishna once called. Everybody, then including Swamiji, all are looking at that old lady. Everybody's attention was from Swamiji came from God, everybody's attention shifted to Swamiji. And some devotee calling Krishna, and everybody said, including Swamiji said, Krishna, sir. Not only us. How happy Krishna must have felt. That means whole collection of almost about 100 people within the all attention to that Krishna uttering. What would be the feeling of Krishna? Wow. Means wholeheartedly, that person, everybody has forgotten and only that Krishna word is there in the ear. That is feeling the living presence of God to the exclusion of all other things. So that kind of, that is anusmarana. If you repeat the name of God, That is another channel, an exclusive channel with the transcendental is related to the relative existence. We, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, all that crossing, where you are going to reach, that is the absolute existence as self, Atman. Similarly, objective ultimate, subjective ultimate is Atman, objective ultimate is Brahman. Now, whether it is Brahman or Atman, it is same. You are going out from the front door and seeing the same sky. You are coming back and seeing from the back door, same sky. You are going inside and seeing the same sky, outside and going same sky. Same Brahman. But because the direction is changed, we call it Atma Jnana and Brahma Jnana. Later on you will see the Atma Jnana and Brahma Jnana are the one and the same. Now this, the transcendental, how am I linked to the transcendental? Whether it is Brahman or Atman. What are the, one is your heart, love. Love is one of the bridges by which you are connecting yourself to the transcendental. Because love is expression of the Atman. Love doesn't come in the 24 cosmic principles. It doesn't belong to Prakriti. Similarly, time doesn't belong to Prakriti. It belongs to neither, this at least love belongs to the transcendental. The time appears and disappears. With creation appears, disappears with creation. Mahakala will remain, the great time. Just like when we sleep, our individual time dissolves in this deep sleep. The universal time is continuing. And when the universal time also dissolves, the transcendental time, Mahakala, will remain. Because of which, again the creation comes out, manifests. Just like we sleep and wake up, the whole universe goes to causal form and manifests again. So, what are you linked with? One is heart, other is intellect, Jnana Marga, Bhakti Marga. In this Jnana Marga, intellect is product of nature. Pancha Jnanendriya, Pancha Karmendriya, Pancha Prana, Buddhi Manas. Buddhi Manas belong to Prakriti. It is a vehicle given to us by nature to take us to the beyond. It can enter into the transcendental level, beyond the relative existence, beyond the universe, beyond our existence. It can go only when it is charged with awareness, filled with Atma only or Brahma only. Go on thinking of Brahman in various ways, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Nainam Chindanti Shastrani and all that. Go on thinking. Similarly, what is it? Vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa, yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa. All those Vedic, Upanishadic, this one, go on thinking, and your intellect becomes filled with what is Brahman. It is like Ayap Pindavat, Tapta Ayap Pindavat. It is like an iron ball which has become red hot. Once the iron ball becomes red hot, it has lost all the properties of iron. It is fire now. Still more heat it will become white hot. It will start emitting light. It is no more iron. It has lost all the properties of iron. So, just like that, mind, intellect loses all the property of intellect. It has become Chaitanyamaya, Chinmaya. The intellect has become Chinmaya. It can transcend the nature and go beyond. Though it belongs to nature, it is no more belongs to nature now, because it is charged with consciousness, charged with Chaitanya. It has become Chaitanyamana, Gana, Chaitanyamaya. And then it enters into the transcendental realm. But it cannot go long. Once it touches it starts dissolving there. Because in that realm, two cannot remain, no duality. It is, Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of salt doll entering into sea to find out the bottom. And while going itself, it got lost, dissolved. So no more. It's like that Jivatman trying to. So one channel for us is love, heart. Another channel is intellect. There is a third channel, which is the Vak. Vak comes from the transcendental realm. Whenever we speak, it is not coming from mind. Para Pashyanti Madhyama Vaikhari. Vaikhari is external. Madhyama is mental. Pashyanti is beyond the mind. And Para is just originating from the Chaitanya. You are conscious. From the consciousness, whatever you receive, senses receive. The information goes to, received first by mind, given to intellect, then it goes to the self, the Atman. From the Atman it comes back. This Atman is surface of the Chaitanya in us. It is like the ocean entering into land to become port or harbor. In harbor or port, water has entered into land for the ship and all to stand. It's like that Chaitanya has entered in our heart. This we call heart. This is what is called Chidakasha, Chaitanya Akasha. There are three spaces. This is Mahakasha. There is Chitta Akasha, in which we imagine, think. Then Chidakasha, Chaitanya Akasha. Chidakasha, Chitta Akasha, Mahakasha. We enter into Chidakasha. Chidakasha is where you get the vision of God, where the God manifests. When you transcend the body, when you transcend the mind, when you enter the Vijnanamaya Kosha, you have become from Deha Bhava, you have gone to the Jiva Bhava. And there you get the vision of God. Then you have left the physical body, you have left the pranas, you have left the manas, buddhi with intellect, Vijnanamaya Kosha. Alone is there you have entered, you have only buddhi and indriya, panchajnanendriya. Karmendriya also left behind, like slipper and entering the temple. You have left everything and entered inside. There, intense longing to see God makes God to manifest there. Your sankalpa is there to see God. In Chidakasha, when you enter, you get the vision of God. But you can't move, you don't have a body. Then Prema Sharira appears, love body. Just like when you enter into sleep, you get dream body. When you enter dream, you get dream body. When you wake up, you get this physical body. In Savikalpa Samadhi, you get Prema Sharira, body of love. The moment the body of love appears, all the senses, mind, intellect, only two are there, no mind. Mind is merged in the ego, remains with the intellect. And you get the vision. Now you can't move. Just like you do prana pratishtha in a vigraha, God does prana pratishtha in you. When God does the prana pratishtha, you start moving about. You can do anything. You can speak, you can move, you can talk, you can relate yourself. All things becomes possible. Because without prana there is no movement. When God does prana pratishtha in the prema sharira, it starts moving. First thing what happens is you run to the Lord's presence. Immediate presence. Hold Him in your hand. When the jiva has left the Lord's presence, so many millions of lives might have passed. Juga bite na aya milanaki. So now he is seeing some light and waiting, searching. in every object of the world. This will give me joy, this will give me joy. What all he held in each life. Now last, getting exhausted, getting tired. Last he has come to the Lord's feet to get his, and grace of God makes him the eligible to get the vision of God. God has to reveal himself. Man has no capacity even to invoke the God's presence. But when you see that you are able to feel the living presence of God, by some means you have to cultivate. When you are going to the rock, Holy Mother's rock, walking, just go on as if the Lord. I saw one devotee telling, when I was in Shamlatal, when I was in Shamlatal, I stayed for about 9 days or 10 days there. One devotee had come. He had gone to Vrindavan. And the moment he entered into Vrindavan, a boy is moving with him. And he is walking with him. The moment he sees, he is not there. He can feel he is walking with him. You cannot see him. The moment you see, then you, just like you see here somewhere, you will be seeing approximately a person around. Suppose you are looking at me, they are also visible in a different way. Like that, he is able to see him by seeing at other places. When he tries to look at him, he is not there. He is moving somewhere. He says, he stayed for about 15 days there, moving about here. Wherever he goes, when he sleeps also, he is there by the side. But he cannot catch him. You cannot see him. But he is there with you. And then he has to come, he has to go back to the office. He started coming, he thought he will be accompanying. The boy will accompany him into the office also. He will, perhaps if he had come, he would have, first thing he has done, he would have been to teach computer and mobile. That boy, then the moment he crossed Vrindavan, that boy was missing. He was coming out, crossed the Vrindavan. He was telling and weeping, I have to go to the office. My people will be hungry if I don't go. I never feel like coming back from the Vrindavan. All these days in the train I wept. I could not take food. And then he had come to Shamlatal for 2-3 days. We were talking many things about this devotional path. How God means how much of longing, what kind of life he must have spent in the house with all people, keeping the mind at the feet of God. You have kept me here. I am doing all the things you have given me, duties. I am fulfilling. I don't want anything here. Come to me, come to me. God has taken him there to give him the vision, to give him his presence. Then I told him what is living presence of God. What you felt there, try to continue it for the rest of the life. He is there with you. If he is there in Vrindavan, Thakur used to tell Hriday Vrindavan. There is Hriday Vrindavan within you, where you have to go. Till mobile came, they used to go to booth. Then when booth came, booth went off. While traveling in train, we speak in Sanskrit. So while speaking in Sanskrit, one boy came and I told, are you speaking in Sanskrit? He said, yes. I too attended one class on Sanskrit speaking. I too can speak little, little. Then he went away, sat, and again came running. What do you tell about mobile? What word we have to use in mobile, for mobile in Sanskrit? I told Karna Pishachi. What else to tell? So like that. So the living presence of God, if you cultivate, feel the same thing what you felt. You may not be able to see, but you will be able to feel. Slowly, in your mind, he starts precipitating. The form starts precipitating. In your heart, when you sit for meditation, you will see clearly, part by part of his presence. He is sitting, Thakur is sitting, suppose. Every small grains you will be able to see. The nail formation, everything, small things. You will be able to. Someday you may see some apart, someday only eyes. So the living presence that you have cultivated all the time, when you sit for meditation, it gives you the fruit. And half the battle you have won with the Maya, external Maya, and little more. Then if you combine the japa is another independent link, hotline with the transcendental. You can immediately, the easiest and spontaneous is vak. Intellect cannot go and come. From heart it comes, it cannot come out because it is always focused to a small one person. My child, my wife, my husband, my father, my mother. This is all what we love. So though there is an ocean inside, small drops will be falling outside, like dew drops. So much only little love comes out. When it is universal love, it flows out because universe itself is God. God has become the universe. If you love all beings, then torrents of love will come. Otherwise, chittik, small drizzles, now and then will come. And it is all the senses, mind, everything will take their share and nothing will remain. By loving someone, mind wants its share, senses want their share. Every part of your being wants their share. When all go away in that, what will you get the joy? When it is turned back to the source, then you will see that paripurnata you get. You will never get fulfillment by turning your love outward to anyone, because it is passing things. They appear and disappear. Whom I love is no more there after some time. So I myself disappear from this body. Impermanent things. This is what we see. So one important thing we have to remember is, the second thing is japa. When you combine japa and the innermost, it is coming out, name of God, Ishtadevata, the mantra is coming out with love. Vak and prema. Those two coming together will silence the brain. Otherwise, brain will be, the main problem is we have been given a brain. If love alone was there, without interference of the brain, intellect, it will be so nice. When you combine these two, the intellect dissolves in the heart. An important thing you must remember. When you love God and do the japa, intellect doesn't interfere. No doubts. There is certainty. There is clarity. There is intimacy. And doubts won't be there. Nisamshaya. This is what we see. and 3/4 of you have won the war. If you can do japa and feel the living presence and love God intimately as your own, you are completed. If it is coming unbroken, with all your duties of life, if you are able to do, then 3/4 your sadhana is over. Little more, a few steps alone, that you will be able to complete. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.